educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios here in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio, Universal Broadcasting Network, and then every Thursday at 7 and Saturday at 1 p.m. on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and now everywhere on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And starting with my peace out shout outs to all the beautiful people I met this week. First, at another fabulous City Summit event. Peace out to Sophia and Marlena, who recognized me, and to all of the amazing nonprofit organizations doing amazing things. I'll be having some of them on the air next year with founder Ryan Long, from helping at-risk youth to rescuing children from sex slavery. And a peace in, peace out to Thaddeus, Marguerite, and mom Kim Brooks, and all of the wonderful people who cared at the Here's to Life benefit concert. I was super grateful to be part of the fundraiser, singing with the amazing Agape International Choir at the Fonda Theater for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, because every life is important and suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And recognizing excellent customer service, because I want to balance out all the angry ranting about bad experiences. Glenn from Cheap Air, Raina from Working Wardrobes, Jason at Michael Kors, and Sally at Mac. Now, this week, my monthly What If column comes out in the Sun, answering a reader's question on what to do when I hate my job, but I'm afraid to quit. If you'd like a copy, please do go to drmarissa.tv. And great news this week, I actually go to my CNBC station to record my newest medium to splatter more hope and happiness with a California Minute with Dr. Marissa called Give Yourself a Break with Dr. Marissa. So if you're in anywhere in the Inland Empire, go to AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and you'll get me every single day giving yourself a break. And yes, I'm doing all this because I'm so shy. Sarcasm is another service I offer. But it's time for the guest that you've all been waiting for, the amazing Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH, Ms. Loretta Swit, two-time Emmy award-winning actress, Sarah Siddons Award for her work on stage, and she has her own star on Hollywood Boulevard. Most importantly, she has used her limelight to advocate for animal rights. She recently received the Betty White Award from Actors and Others for Animals, and is celebrating the 45th anniversary of the hit series MASH with the release of her book, Sweethearts, the Watercolor Artistry and Animal Activism of Loretta Swit, by and with Miles Hora this January. Please welcome to my studio, Loretta Swit. Hi, Loretta.
Well, hello. That's some warm welcome, I have to say.
Good.
That is some wild and wonderful. I like their energy.
Good. Yes, you are very beloved. I have to tell you, I've been as soon as Harlan confirmed that you were coming on, I've been talking about you coming on, and you have so many fans all over the world saying you're their favorite. You made their week. You made their, growing up.
Wow.
You made their, and actually, Tony Sweet, who owns this station, the UBN station, says he still watches you and loves you. So that's a
Oh, well,
special bit of love from Tony Sweet.
it is, I'll tell you, it's a blessed way to live.
I bet.
All that love coming at you all the time from people you may never meet in your life. You probably never will meet in your life. And all those vibes are going strong towards you. And it's all I can say is a blessing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm glad you receive it that way, because that's definitely how it's coming at you. So
Mhm.
I'm going to start before we talk about your very important work. I did have some questions from listeners about being on MASH, and one of the
Sure.
questions is, what was the best part of doing that show, and what was the most difficult part of doing that show?
I would say there's no one thing that made it the best. Doing the show was the best thing that could happen to an actor. You had these extraordinary writers, literate scripts every week, like a little wonderful play to work on every week. You were working with the top talented, incredible people in the industry, all of whom bonded and loved each other, were still a close family. So there was nothing but best. Everything was the best about being there and doing it. I can't think of a worst. It's hard work, but it was such a pleasure and so much fun and so comfortable and wonderful. The worst thing. Well, the worst thing was that it had to end,
Right.
which of course it hasn't, because it's gone on. It's never been off the air for 45 years,
That's
which is
amazing.
extraordinary in itself.
That is extraordinary.
I can't really think of the worst, to tell you the truth. I don't think there was a worst.
Yeah. Well, you're actually on my series. My last week of the month is I do sexual healing with Dr. Marissa, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated topic. So I thought the fact
Oh,
that you
wonderful.
were good. I thought the fact that you were, one of the earliest sex symbols on TV. I thought that might be an interesting. How did that feel to you? How did you take to that? Was it something that you had aspired for, or did you ask for it, or did they come to you and say you're going to be the sex symbol with a name like Hot Lips Houlihan? What was your reaction?
Okay, there's so many questions in there. I'm going to try to
Sorry.
try to minimize it with
Okay.
my answers. I never thought of myself as that. I still do think of myself as a working actor. That's what I do. That's who I am. I do many other things, but my main thing in life is acting. Okay, so having said that, everything else that happens, the kind of roles you do, it's like a sidebar. It's a reaction and a byproduct of what you're doing. All I'm doing is the role. All I'm doing is my job, which is act.
Right.
And so I hope that kind of encompasses the answer to a few of your questions. I think that her character was more than her sexual prowess or issues, or in other words, she was more than one part of her anatomy. I think that people, fans, I get letters from women who became nurses because of Margaret Houlihan, not because of, quote, hot lips, unquote.
Right.
And that means a great deal to me. That means I was doing the job.
Right.
And I'm flattered tremendously by being that kind of
Role model.
idol, by being that kind of model.
Yes.
That they would aspire to live a compassionate life, helping people, learning how to help people, and giving solace and care to people. I mean, what a wonderful way to devote your life.
Right.
Okay, so there's that. I also outranked most of the guys in the show. So you had for the first thing I would say, rather than one of the first sex symbols of that era, I would say she was one of the leading feminists before it had a word. Before feminism as a word was even coined, there she was in the 50s in the army, being a tough leader,
Right.
and being a major.
I didn't even think of that.
You know, so I think those things overrode everything else.
Right.
It just whether she was sexy or not was not so important as the other things that she was accomplishing for women.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and for men. See, I think you free a woman, you free a man. But that's me. That's the way I think.
All right, that's an interesting concept. Speak more about that. I'm just curious. Free a woman, free a man.
Well. If a woman is free to be a strong, independent human being who has power and potential and so forth, well, you free a man to not have to take care of her or you know.
I get it.
The roles that young boys, little boys, are supposed to be learning, you know, not to cry, for example. Suddenly, a man in his own right can feel pain, can cry, can care, can be compassionate without being thought of as soft or wussy or. I mean, I think it frees everybody to be who they are.
That's brilliant.
And
that's really brilliant.
So,
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna use that. I'll give you credit.
Okay, you don't even have to. I think it's something. I think basically, I think a lot of people know this instinctively. We just don't always give voice to it. We don't always express it, and but I think it's valid, and I think so I love that aspect of it more than anything.
Yeah, I love it because my show's all about balance, and I think that so we went from the male dominated patriarchal extreme, and then with feminism we went to the way other extreme, like don't open my door, I got it myself. And what you're talking about is a beautiful balanced middle ground.
Excellent.
Where the best gets brought out in both. That's brilliant. We need to write an article on that.
This is true.
No, really.
Okay.
I think that's beautiful. Let's do it. Let's do it. I just love that. You really absolutely are deserved of the accolades that I've been hearing about you. I peeked at Wikipedia, and you're like the Energizer Bunny, because you're not you're ageless. You're still doing stage productions.
With lots of energy.
Wow.
You know, the secret to having energy is loving what you do. I love everything that I'm involved with. I love helping animals, helping people. I love painting. I certainly love my work. I mean, I said just the other day, we're closing a show, the light, a little bit of a light goes out on me when I close a show before I open another or before I do another, a creative piece of work. Just a little light sort of goes off for a while. You know, I love being out there and sharing. Which is what live theater is really all about. I talk about that in master classes. It's a love affair. I mean, if you're alone on stage and nobody's out there in the audience, you're an actor. If an audience is out there with nobody on stage, they're just a crowd of people. But together, we make magic. We need each other. We love each other. We want each other. And when the history of applause, clapping your hands together, came out of the fact that somebody was reaching out to give you a pat on the back but couldn't reach. And so instead they clapped their hands on the other hand. They touched their hands to illustrate that they were patting you on the back. Well, this is a gesture of love, affection, friendship, approval, acceptance. This is, when refugees were coming across on ships and their relatives were waiting at the dock, and they would reach out and they would clap their hands together. They were hugging them. They were, you see what I'm saying? The gesture is one of embrace.
So beautiful. That's the second thing I'm going to steal from you. That is
okay,
just.
Let's talk about theft now. Let's talk about your thieving career.
yes, let's do that. Well, actually, because we are talking about sexual healing, and you are, my role model, one of my role models. What do you say to women who aren't feeling good about their bodies, who aren't feeling good about how they are, their attractiveness? I started this series because I'd heard the statistic that up to 85% of women actually fake because of a myriad of reasons. But what's your message there, like to women who are, whatever it is, the emphasis on thin, or they're just not feeling attractive?
Right. Unhappily, we've had some role models that have steered us off a balanced, to use your word, off of a balanced course. I mean, you are not your body unless we're talking about health, which we're not doing that right now.
Right.
If you're not happy with your body, you think that's the only thing that is attracting somebody. And I'm not saying it isn't important or not an issue. I'm saying your persona is more than that, is more than that body. And that's important not to lose sight of. Now, physically and mentally and health-wise, if you look in the mirror and you're not happy with what you see, so you should not, and I'm not saying to be a slave to this, I'm saying there are things you can do to help yourself. And, that's the only person God's going to help. You got to get out there and help yourself. I walk from 4 to 6 miles every day.
Wow.
I exercise in addition every day with weights every other day. So that's like part of my regime. I'm a vegan. I don't eat animal fats or animal products.
My
That's my
daughter is
choice,
going to be
but
so happy to
a
hear
very,
that. My
it's
daughter
a very
is
healthy
too.
choice.
Yeah, she's going to be so thrilled that you are.
So those are examples of when I look in the mirror, I like the results of what I'm doing with my regime. I read a lot. My brain is stimulated. And I'd like to think what I put out is the real thing. This is who I am. Obviously, I'm not as open with everybody, with a stranger, but I'd like to think, like in my classes, I give them the Emmas. I give them the real me. This is who I am. This is how I feel. This is how I think. And that package is real. And if it attracts people, in this case, a man or men, at least they're attracted to the real thing. It's not some silicone implant or whatever. However, by the same token, I'm not putting that down. I'm saying do what you can to make you feel good, because if you feel good, you will attract people who are attracted to a healthy human being who feels good about herself. But what do you base it on? If you're basing it on the size of your cup, I think that's unrealistic,
Right.
because someday they're going to droop and you're going to feel less than. Well, you
Yeah.
shouldn't. You
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
If
Beautiful.
what you're taking care of is the real you,
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to get better. You're just going to get better and better, smarter, wiser, prettier, I think, because I think women age beautifully.
And you
And
are beautiful.
so, my mother passed at 106 years old.
Wow.
She was as sharp as a tack. She played 5 bingo cards at one time, which kept her alert
Right.
and thinking, and I thought that was wonderful. She was a tremendous role model for me to take care of myself. If I have her DNA, which obviously I do,
Right.
I need to plan on a healthy life. If I'm going to live that long, I want to have all my marbles flying around, and I want to be interested and interesting.
Yep.
And
You are.
I'm never going to retire. Why would I do that? I love what I do.
Right.
So I think, I hope in a roundabout way I've answered that question about what you put forward.
Yes.
If all you think that is attractive about you is artifice, well, then that's not a good basis for attraction, because already artifice means artificial and not real. But I'm saying focus on what's real. Certainly make it as beautiful, as enticing as you can, but for yourself, to feel better about yourself.
Right.
And then that still puts forward the real you.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Can I ask how young you are? Do you share
I'm
that?
8. I'll be 80 years old in November.
Wow. Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
You are definitely the youngest almost 80-year-old woman I have met on the air. You look fabulous. And you're teaching master classes. You're still acting. Your next show is?
I'm doing a film next month. It's called Play the Flute. And then after that, I'm preparing to tour. The show that I just closed is called 6 Dance Lessons in 6 Weeks. And the reason I absolutely adore this play is because she is a woman of a certain age. She can be any age. She can be 70, 80, 90. Well, it doesn't matter.
Right.
She is older. She's an older woman who hires a young dance instructor to teach her dancing. This woman is going to go kicking and screaming into the grave. She is not going to give up her youth or her energy, and she so illustrates how I feel about age being a number. I just so I love doing her. I love doing her energy and her drive, even her pain. She's masking a great hurt that she feels she caused her daughter. And but in the play, she has a wonderful catharsis. Getting it out and realizing that all she did was the best she could, and that's all we can do. But it does alleviate some of the pain, and but it's a wonderful story about friendship, about not to presuppose somebody is one thing when they can be another. Don't prejudge.
Right.
It's about aging. She talks about how people disappear as they get older, and she fights that. She says the clerks look over your head, or they look through you, and they don't pay attention to you because you're getting older. And she talks about not having a husband, because having a husband at a certain age gives the women, and this is a quote, the mantle of protection that having a husband affords a woman of a certain age. That's so true. I'm not talking about like just having a date. She's talking about holding someone's hand in a store where they'll pay attention to you.
Right. Now, are you married?
And I'm divorced.
Okay.
For many years, I'm divorced.
And do you have your own dance instructor now too?
It's
being
very
nosy.
funny. I was rehearsing the play,
Uh-huh.
and I ran into an old friend, and he's teaching. And I said, I want to get back into taking some classes. I miss it. And he said, great, we'll have some fun. So when I get through with the tour, because the tour is going to be huge, I'll look him up and go back to it's around the corner. It's around the block. It's going to be really easy. I just roll out of bed into a pair of leggings and I take a class.
Fabulous.
I love dancing.
Yes,
I love
you started
all the
at
arts,
age 6.
really.
I understand. You actually
As
started
soon
as
as
a dancer.
I could walk, my mother had me in
That's
tap
beautiful.
shoes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
well,
she
maybe
was a piece of work.
Yeah. Well, maybe there will be a little romance soon in your life. I do know that well, I'm happily divorced. I actually heard this fabulous new thing, and maybe you can steal this from me. Because I hate the expression cougar. There's nothing about that is complimentary to me. So a friend of mine, Barbara, told me Vogue put out this new term called whip. And WHIP stands for women who are hot, intelligent, and in their prime. And I added P for powerful too. So I have now adopted, I'm a whip. And I can live
So
with
am
that.
I,
And
obviously.
obviously you're a whip. So we two whips will go out on the town and see what we come up with. How's that?
This is great. This is exactly. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm sorry. The word carries a connotation of beating.
Oh yeah,
maybe beating somebody up. But I still like it.
Right? Isn't it beautiful? I love it. I'm
yeah.
a proud.
You can crack a whip to get results without inflicting pain. I mean, you just crack that whip, make that noise like a squeaky wheel.
Right.
I like whip better than squeaky.
Yes, absolutely. We're two beautiful whips, and I'm getting the signal right now that we are going to take a station break. And when we come back, I want to talk about this beautiful book that is actually your own artistry and watercolor. So we'll be back. Thanking our sponsors. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out. Fall into creativity at the Timeless Treasures Boutique this week, September 27th to the 30th at the Lakewood Country Club. Free parking, admission, coffee, and access to over 100 artisans with unique and affordable arts and crafts for your home or gifting. Come for live music, shopping, and even a painting party. And a free gift to the first 44 who mentioned Dr. Marissa. For more, go to timelesstreasuresboutiques.com. Every year, 1.5 to 3 million people die of malaria, and many are under the age of 2. But we can change this. Cure Malaria Now's triantimol medication has a 99% cure rate after 2 treatments. You can make a difference and keep a child from dying of malaria every 12 seconds in Africa and beyond. Email Oz, O-Z, at curemalarianow.com to save a life today. And we are back, and my very, very special guest and my new best friend is Loretta Swit. You will know her as her fabulous role on the hit TV series MASH. Her nickname was Hot Lips Houlihan, but as we are seeing, she is a whole lot more than the sex symbol that was on the show. Just a wonderful role model for women, bringing balance to both power, beauty, and her words of wisdom so far have been fabulous. But I did want to highlight something that she's doing. She's my favorite kind of star because she's taken her limelight and now directed that light in areas that need a little illumination. And that area is animal cruelty. She's been an advocate and an activist in protecting animals, and she's come out with a fabulous book that is going to be released. Is it in January, Loretta? Did we?
That's January this past year.
Oh, this past year. Good. It's already
and I
out.
think, I think it was February, and then by the time all of the thousands of books arrive, it's probably closer to March. But it's new this year. It's just come out. We
Beautiful.
still can say it's just come out because here it is.
There it is. And it's called Sweetheart, which is a play on sweetheart. Very, very clever.
Yeah.
And
wish I could take credit for that. It is brilliant. Do you remember that very famous boutique in Beverly Hills called Giorgio's?
Yes.
They even had a perfume, Giorgio perfume, which was big seller. Anyway, the man who owned that, he and his wife, was Fred Heyman. And when I'd walk into the store, he would say, "Oh, and there's my sweetheart." And I thought, "Oh my God, that's so brilliant!" I made a little note of it. And when we became as electronic as we are, I made it my own. It's my passwords and my websites and my everything is
Wonderful.
Sweetheart. And when my publisher found me and saw my paintings and heard that name, he said, "That's the book, Sweetheart."
Totally.
I'm working on book 2.
Wonderful. Doesn't surprise
I have
me.
to keep up this Energizer bunny routine
Yes.
that everybody seems to think I run.
Yes.
I have to do them proud. Yeah, we've got a good. I think I've got about 20 paintings already. We're ready to go for the second book.
Wow, that's great. So tell me about the first book so that people can go out and buy it. And so all the proceeds go towards helping prevent.
It's called Sweetheart Animal Alliance Foundation. It goes into what I call a fund that disperses the funds out again to all the needy little mom and pop shelters, everybody who needs help. They'll phone and say, would you help us with a fundraiser? Would you give us something to auction? Will you do a painting? Lately, they've come up with this brilliant idea at the fundraisers. The people they auction me off as an artist to paint somebody's pet. So they'll say, "Oh, I'll pay $1,000 for a painting of my pet," and somebody will say, "Well, I'll pay $1,200. I'll pay," and so, but then we take all of them. We say, whatever, we'll give a price to it. Let's say it's, there's been the best has been about 3,000, but they're originals, they're mine, and they're your pet. But anyway, people are always very giving in a spirit of a fundraiser, So,
Absolutely.
So I just recently did a painting. I was at a fundraiser where we raised. Are you ready?
Yep.
$250,000 for the shelter.
Wow.
$250,000 for the shelter. And it's the Harbor Island shelter off the coast of Seattle. Maybe you know it. But anyway, so I did it was the first for me. I did 2 pets in one painting, 2 rescues. And I just recently sent her an email showing her the results, the painting, and she just loved it. It just really made my day. She just loved it.
Well, bless you.
So
that is
so that's what I do. That's a lot of what I do.
You definitely deserve. I'm awarding you. I mean, you've had so many awards, but I am going to award you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Wow.
And not all of my guests get this award. I still have people go, "Hey, I didn't get an award." Well, you didn't deserve an award. But you deserve more than one award with what you are doing, with what you have done, as what you continue to do. I think it is, you're just like, you remind me of that saying, you don't grow old. You don't stop laughing because you grow old. You grow old.
You grow old if you stop laughing.
That's totally. You've laughed so much just in the short time we've been together.
So true.
And you're just a delight. Absolutely. You and you still are friends with Alan Alda. I saw that written up.
No, that's family. No, that's beyond friendship. That's family. My boys, Alan, BJ, Mike, Jamie Farr, Jamil. We call him Jamil, and Gary Berghoff, and. We lost Bill Christopher, of course. We lost Wayne Rogers. Harry. We've suffered as a family.
Mm,
David Ogden, of course, is still with us.
right.
It's simply a family. I don't know
Mhm.
how else to describe
Yeah.
us. We're only closer than most,
Right.
I think, because
Right.
family is what you're born with. I mean, you got them; they're there,
Right.
and you grow to love them, or you put
Or
up with
not.
them, or whatever. But we choose to love each other. We know each other really well,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
we still love each other dearly. So
Yeah,
I
that's
see
beautiful.
them often, talk to them. In the case of Alan and I, we live in the same city. We see each other,
That's
and
beautiful.
Arlene, who's a dear friend, his wife, is
Mhm.
separate from their team. I call her my dear friend and communicate with her on a one-on-one. Occasionally, we have our own relationship, so to speak.
That's
Same
beautiful.
thing with Joy Farr. Same thing with Shelley Fabaret, married to Mike Farrell,
Mhm.
whom I had as a friend before I met Mike. But anyway, it's a family. It's a
That's
family.
beautiful.
Holidays when we can. Um,
That's
you know,
great. And I'm sure they're just delighted to have you in their life as anyone would be. So
we uh, we
that's
we feel that way about
that's
each
great.
other. We
Now
do. It's true.
now Dawn Wells from Gilligan's Island, she's been
Yes.
on the show and she's also become a friend of mine too. I get invited to play poker with her. But she mentions the same thing
Mm.
about how, Gilligan's son is actually a good friend of hers and I got to meet him.
Ah,
So
yes.
so it is definitely a family affair. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, how do people get a hold of you, take classes from you, buy the book,
Ooh.
all of that kind of date
Okay.
you, have a date with you? How does that
Okay.
happen?
Well, I live in New York, even though I pretty bi-coastal from time to time. Um, the classes generally are arranged through schools,
Right.
and or a theater. If I'm working at a theater, they will build that into the program. When we wrap one evening, would you stay? Or after the matinee, would you stay
Uh-huh.
and do a Q&A or give a master class, etc., and so forth. So that's how those things work.
Okay.
The the book is very important.
Yes.
While you can buy it on Amazon, you wouldn't be doing as much good for the animals if you do that. They keep 55% of the proceeds.
Oh,
But if you buy it online from my website, the animals get 100% of the proceeds. Those go into the Sweetheart Animal Alliance Foundation, and the money goes to wherever, farm sanctuary when they need us, which is always. I mean, the one thing about being in the environment for animals, we are needy all the time. Got to feed them, got to
right.
socialize them, got to get them placed, got to
Right.
rescue them, clean them, get them shot, do the blood
Mhm.
work, find out what's going on, and so forth and so on. And in the case of Farm Sanctuary, it's endless because it envelops other species that need different care, or wildlife sanctuaries where we have exotics and so forth. But the need is endless,
Right.
endless, and the fight against
Cruelty.
torture
Absolutely.
and cruelty is
Yes.
endless.
Yes.
We're fighting now a bill that's out there to kill wild horses. Well,
Mm.
hello, why? They're part of American history and culture.
Mm.
Anyway, it's a never-ending battle, and you
Yeah.
just have to look at where we were. We've come a long way, and
Mhm.
look to the future to keep making it better. That's all.
Right.
But you can't dwell on the bad. You
Right.
have to just try to fix it. You just get out there and
Totally
try to fix
agree.
it.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. Staying in the solution.
So the website is www.sweetheart, one word, capital S, capital H, SWIT, capital HEART.com. And that's where you can buy the book. And that's where every penny goes into the foundation, which goes into Bide a Wee, our oldest shelter. In fact, I'm going to see them tomorrow. I'm taking them a $200 check. Why? Why? Because I brought them 2 kittens, rescued, and they did all the work: spay, neuter, blood work, socializing, and placement. The 2, which we didn't want to separate, they were siblings, placement into a forever home within, I think it was 7 days. Within 7 days, those 2 babies are going to live a life of love and comfort and respect. And so I'm giving them a check from the foundation for the work they do.
That's beautiful.
So that's kind of an example of what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
The operative word in the foundation is alliance. All of these incredible. If you buy the book, you will see the last few pages. We have a listing of all the phenomenal work out there being done by different organizations, and they're the ones that we're, holding hands with and trying to help each other. Alliance.
That's beautiful. Chris has put up your website, so Swit, SWIT heart.com. If you are shaking your head at all the CNN constantly negative news lately, and you think that nothing good is happening, I am here on this show always highlighting, and today is no exception. Go to switheart.com. Any amount will do. You will be helping be yourself, be a beneficial presence on the planet. You'll be helping Loretta. You'll be helping animals. And
it's actually be helping yourself. It's a great thing to do, to lift your spirit and help.
Absolutely.
The world. You're helping the earth. You're helping the environment. But you're really, you're lifting your spirit. I'm not saying to feel better is the motivation, but damn, you can't knock how good you feel.
No, I absolutely. I got that lesson the other week. I was helping a blind woman in the bathroom. And what I realized when I walked out is she gave me the gift. I didn't help her. She gave
you got
me
it, kiddo.
the gift.
You got it.
I was in
tears. You got it.
And so help yourself and do something that makes you feel absolutely phenomenal. The last question I always ask my guests is, who would you like to express some gratitude towards that has helped you be who you are?
Who has helped me be who I am? God, I'd have to say my mom and dad, my family, my big brother. I'd have to say I am the sum parts, all made up of things that they, I'm a part of them. I'm made up of parts of them, all of the good parts. Although I have my mom's bad feet, I have her great memory. She was phenomenal. She had an incredible memory.
Beautiful. My
brother is his phenomenal purity. He was such an innocent, guileless human being. Just such a role model. And my dad, his pacifism, his easygoing, and he would walk on strikes or protest marches with me, killing at him. He was into it, put on his little hat and come out with me and march against whatever cruelty, the leg hold trap or he was there feeling the same way. I'd have to say those roots, those grassroots, and even I believe you grow because of disadvantages.
Yes.
Of which I had a lot.
Really? Boy, we didn't even get into that. I can't imagine.
My mom and dad did not want me to be an actor. No, they didn't want me in the arts, which is surprising since she put me in dance class and I was singing in the choir. I was a majorette. I was a cheerleader. I was always in your face. I was always out there performing. And yet I think part of her was terrified that I was taking it too seriously and I wasn't going to get married, have babies, and live a block away. which was her dream.
Right.
And it took a long while for me to convince her that I had to live my own dream, that I would die for her, but I couldn't live for her.
Right.
And, but when she came around, it was the greatest gift you could get as a daughter, this pride and glowing acceptance. And from my brother too, first time he saw me on stage, he wrote a little note saying, you have found your niche, and I can understand now your passion and your gift. And it was a lovely note. I obviously still have it. And, stuff like that. And we used to go to church in Rote. So when I was home waiting for my turn, my dad was too. So Bob was gone. He was an older boy. And my mother was gone to church. So Dad would say, "Sis, get out your toe shoes and dance for me, would you?" So those are gifts that they gave me.
That's beautiful.
Even, as I say, the protest only helped me underscore my passion to become an actor, my passion to do with what I thought God gave me, so to speak,
Yeah.
And so
we are
that's
blessed
good.
by
I mean, I'm glad everybody didn't just give me everything I wanted. When you work for something and you get it, the pleasure, I think, has got to be tripled because you feel deserving.
Yes.
And and you're never really complacent about where you are, because it takes work to do what you want to do.
Absolutely. And we are out of time, so you are going to have to come back.
Oh, please. It's been fun chatting with you.
Yay.
And you have my permission about your theft. I understand it. It's not really, I have a philosophy about that. If you tell somebody you're going to steal it, it's not really theft.
There you go.
Because you're telling them. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
So we have this deal, you and I.
Yay. Thank you so much. And I would love to have you invite Alan. I think it would be a great sexual healing episode if the two of you came on and talked, and we can talk about anything. But that would be fun. But whatever you'd like, you're invited to my studio anytime. I love you.
Well,
I'm
thanks.
so grateful that I got to meet you. I love my job. I am so lucky to do what I do.
Yes,
and get
you
to
are.
meet people
You know
like
why?
you.
You're
Why?
lucky. You're lucky because you know what you have. A lot of people are lucky and they're not aware of how lucky they are. So they miss that part.
Yeah.
They miss it until the end, and they look back and say, I was so lucky. So look around you now, everybody, and see what you've got. Feel lucky now and enjoy your luck.
Yes. We're going to have to
and that's what you're doing. So you're very, very, very lucky.
Thank you. That was
God
Loretta.
bless.
You too. God bless you. And we'll definitely be talking to Harlan to get you back.
Okay.
Thank
He's
you,
a doll.
Loretta.
Okay. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, sweetheart. All righty. I did not want that one to end. Not that I want any of my shows to end. We never have enough time. But welcome to the Balance Bar. My little magic wand. Wow. Make sure I am on here. Yes, good. You have me in person. I was backstage chatting with you, and man, I am just blessed beyond measure to have saved and forever in my YouTube TV channel treasure chest of shows this incredible. I love this, I love when I am inspired to have these incredible creative
Throwback Thursday series that had me. It came out of me actually being exhausted a little. Because I went from a once a week show to an everyday freaking show. And I said yes before I kind of realized the amount of work that I was only doing once a week to every single weekday morning. This was right when COVID started, when Fred called and said, "Would you like the morning show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then, it's a lot to do 5 shows a week, especially when you have 8 jobs or 7 jobs outside of the show. Well, 2 of the jobs is produce and host. So I have 6 other jobs. So I think a guest had postponed and I had a slot and it was like 20 minutes before. And I thought, well, let me just put up a past show from my treasure chest. And that became the Throwback Thursday series. And I am so glad that I thought of that. Or it was inspired to me by my UPS man, my universal power source, who delivers every morning when I meditate. That's what happens. And because of this special series, Throwback Thursday, I get to pop it up. Loretta Swit died Friday, and my mom passed Thursday early morning. So to be able to have her interview and share it with you again and re-listen, I have a great memory, but recall sucks sometimes. And so just to hear her voice, right? Now that she's on the other side, she's not gone. She hasn't been lost. Her love is all over the place and her legacy is all over the place. And, those of us who love and will miss her, that love is forever grounded in our hearts and will never be forgotten. But to be able to listen to her words again, particularly about the emphasis that she wanted to move from the hot lips, sex thing to feminism, and how she's way more appreciative of having nurses thank her for the role model she played as the major in that was like a pioneering role for her, to strong, powerful, smart, accomplished woman in a male dominated, come on, in the army, and have that influence in the medical field and being responsible for the nurses. And Alan Alda's tribute to her, I just read, was exactly that. Let's see, I had it up. Let's see if I can quickly get it. But yes, Loretta was a supremely talented actor. She deserved all her 10 Emmy nominations. I didn't actually know that. And we didn't talk about that on the show. She didn't bring it up. And she had 2 wins. But more than acting her part, she created it. She worked hard in showing the writing staff how they could turn the character from a one joke sexist stereotype into a real person with real feelings and ambitions. We celebrated the day the script came out, listing her character not as Hot Lips, but as Margaret. Loretta made the most of her time here. Wow. What a beautiful tribute. And boy, how fortunate am I to have had her talk about this important distinction from her, what was Alan Alda says, her one joke sexist stereotype, into a real person, and her role in being an inspiration as a strong woman in the entertainment industry and with her character. But you could tell, like, I mean, it's not just her character. It definitely is exactly who she is. And I am going to pop up her website because as far as I know, this was her legacy, life's passion, helping. Her help, it was to animals. There's still, I'm sure, ways in which there's a lot of solution on here. And I want you to go and, support, I'm sure, instead of, just saying, oh, I'm so sad. She's gone. You can actually do something to support. She's, watching us and loving us from afar. But just like that dream I told you about my dad, I know where all of my loved ones who have passed are, and they're still, watching us on the big screen and cheering when something could happen. So if you want Loretta to cheer for you on the other side, please go and support that which she was so passionate about. So sweetheart.com. And let's see, did I put that up? And I think I already put that up. Okay. So I'm going to end this episode with some gratitude sandwich. We didn't do it at the top of the show. On Throwback Thursdays, we don't start, but we end with breakfast, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich, because I want to make sure that I get all of the Throwback Thursday spotlight interview in its entirety before I get back on here to do the taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich with you. So, top of the bun, things that we're grateful for outside of ourselves. Bottom of the bun, things that we're grateful for inside of ourselves, also known as appreciation. Taking that from Abraham Hicks, law of attraction work that I do. So what am I grateful for? Oh, somebody just gave me a hug. Thank you. One of my subscribers. Feel free to chat. Please do free subscribe. Thanks for the reminder. I'm so blessed and grateful. I just found out that this YouTube TV channel has 3,889,000 impressions, which is more than I can even wrap my head around. But it was part of the reason I'm grateful that I'm going back on world tour. 8 Ways to Happiness got cut short by COVID going around, and I've been sort of, doing one-off travels to do workshops or speaking or teaching around the world. Last year, I was in Australia, New Zealand, China, and Canada. Well, I'm going back out, and the decision's been made. Canada for July, Africa for August, Hawaii and Puerto Rico for September. October, I'll be back here because of the Newport Beach Film Festival that I've been a sponsor for 8+ years now, and the Catalina Jazz Festival, where my twin sister Keiko Matsui is performing in October, and a veterans event on November 8th with Heaven and Earth Oasis. So I'll be back here and then back out teaching, speaking, and writing, finishing my screenplay, Life by 1,000 Cuts, which deals with mother-daughter relationships, and speaking to that as well, going back to Shanghai for a month and then to Taiwan for a month. So I will be back, between big trips, but won't be the home base will be abroad. And then I'm not going to be abroad, but yes, I'm going to be abroad, but I'm not going to be abroad. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And then we'll see, what my UPS man delivers, whether it's a 1-year contract somewhere abroad or whether I come back in the new year of 2026. But I am grateful for all of the opportunities. If you know anyone that are in those cities or countries that I'm finally going to take to heart those invitations that I've been collecting since the book came out. And I'm going to fulfill those. So even though I may have already been there, and I used to have a rule, like I only do things once, I'm breaking that rule, but so grateful for all of that. And I appreciate that I am just like Loretta Swit, an Energizer bunny, because life is way too short to sit around and eat bonbons and watch a series. I'm going to juice my life as usual. Thanks for joining me today. And remember, it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Tomorrow, Straight Talk with James Hawthorne. Now go and have the best day ever. I'll see you tomorrow.